All right, joining me now, Fox News contributor and president of Independent Women's Voice, Tammy Bruce, and the author of Always a Soldier, Rob Smith. Tammy, we've talked so many times over the years about this notion of populism, and to me it's always been putting power in people's hands. What's so thrilling to me about what's happening in response to these bureaucratic school closures that are just not justified is parents are just taking the power. They're just seizing. They've had enough. They want to be in control, and I think we should, and President Trump understands, you've got to back it. He's backing it. We need all of the Republican Party to back it in Congress right now.
Yeah, that's clear. Now, one of the reasons why individual parents feel empowered to do this, I think, is in part to the political revolution of the last 3 years, because there's a president who's encouraging them. Right now, as you've noted, the Republican establishment is not. The establishment itself, they figure, look, and this is where those of us who are minorities, those who are on the fringes, if you will, we traditionally don't have as much money or as much influence, and so we're the ones that can be pushed around, and the unions come in, and that's where the power base is. But the parents and the students lose out. So in this case, I think this is, the timing is very important. That the reason Americans feel like we still have some individual validity, we still have some individual agency that we can do this, is because we still see this reformation happening at the political level. And it is something that, of course, is going to change the course of the lives of those women and men. But really, in the inner city and for women of color, you're looking at single parents, at women who want to go back to work, who have children they're worried about, and who would love to have control over what those children are learning. Because right now, what we're finding out, look at what's going on in the streets right now. It's not good for anyone's child when it comes to what the future looks like at this point if the left remains in charge.
Yeah, that's right, Tammy. That's such a deep point. You're right, because we sometimes take it for granted. We've got a president who just instinctively backs the American people when they want to have power, when they want to take control, regardless, because he's not steeped in the establishment. He doesn't come from that background. He's not a politician that's dependent on donations from the teachers' unions or had to curry favor them, whatever, to get elected locally or any of that stuff. He just sees that people want power and wants to give it to them. It's a really profound point. It's one of the things we really must remember in terms of the choice in November about what's really at stake, whether this revolution keeps going, not just in relation to schools, but right across the board. All right, thank you, Tam. Great point. Rob, you've talked in the past about this from the perspective of someone who thinks this is the school choice argument has been a missed opportunity for Republicans. They haven't emphasized it enough. Looks like the president totally gets it, sees this as a real winner.
It looks like the president does get it, and I have said in the past, I did a op-ed for Fox News Opinion called "The 5 Words That Will Help President Trump with Black Voters in November Are School Choice for Black Kids," and he seems to have gotten the memo, and I think that this is something that they've been working towards for a really long time. But I think it's an empathetic message. I think it's a message that works, and I think it's a message that is really good with pushing back against the left. The left likes to pretend that they are always the champions of African Americans and Latino Americans, but the fact is that the kids that are being hurt the most in underperforming public schools are African American and Latino. The kids are being helped the most in these charter schools that are working are African American and Latino. So it feels as if there's a really big opportunity here. And I'm coming from you from Tampa, from Florida, and I say this all the time. In this Florida governor election, Ron DeSantis won 18% of black female voters because these were the school choice moms. And that is not only an empathetic message, school choice, but it is also a message that can win this presidential election. And I think that we have been missing an opportunity in the past to have this conversation, but the president is taking it right now. And that is a very exciting thing, and it's exciting to watch. And people like us just need to start pushing those messages more and more. And as somebody who is the product of some very poorly performing middle and high schools that I went to in Akron, Ohio, and I've spoken about this before. I know what it is like to be a black kid in a poorly performing school, and I wish that I would have had that option, because I did have involved parents, but I did not have that option. That option could have changed a lot of things for me at that point. That's
great. You see, Rob, the reason this school choice issue is such a winner politically is because it's so clear and simple and practical. That's why I keep saying, as I said earlier, they've got to do this in the relief bill, because that's money directly to parents. It's so simple and practical. They'll be very clear who got them that money, President Trump, and who would take it away, Joe Biden. All right.